Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. I'm Cindy Daychuk with Queen Bee Creations. I look a little hot and sweaty, but it's busy days here in the shop, and you know what? This is real. This is what it is. So I wanted to, we're making confetti. We're so not. But we are starting by ripped up pieces of paper. And I don't know about you, but I have lots of paper that I save because I've messed up on it. For instance, I sent barcode labels to be printed out, and then discovered I printed them on paper and not on the label maker. So this is supposed to be ½ an inch big. So I use them for scrap paper and that kind of lovely stuff. And I also use them for crafts. So all that you're gonna do is take paper, and this is, you know, any kind of paper. So old packing paper, you could use old newspapers. If you have kids like mine were, you know, you give them a pad of paper and they do one line on a page and, oh, that's wrong. So they go to the next page and they won't use that because, no, it was wrong. And it's like, so then I go back and I take all their pages that they have just partially written on, and then that's what I get to write on, right? So if your kids don't do that, then bless you, but you know, my kids, my grandkids, everybody seems to do that. So the idea is that we rip this up. Now, I wanted to do this particular project before the spring kind of kicks into full gear, because I think this is a super cool idea and it's gonna be great for gifts. So what we're going to do is we're gonna turn this into paper mush. So we're gonna stuff it into a blender. Now, this is a little old cheapo blender that I thrifted. So this is not my kitchen blender, but you could use your kitchen blender if you wanted to, because we're just using paper and water. We're not adding glue, we're not adding any toxic substances. So as long as your paper doesn't have any of that, and I don't recommend it for this project, then, you know, you're cool. So we're gonna add, and here, you know what, you're gonna have to judge based on how much paper you stick in there, how much you word around, but we are going to mush it up. And I'm gonna do that off camera. I will put the lid on, I swear. I'm gonna do that off camera just so it doesn't drive you nuts, but whoops, let me mush that up and come back. And you don't want it super, super wet. You want it to be sort of clumping together, but if it's got a little bit too much water in it, because that's what your blender will handle. This one is a really old Oster. It is not a super duper one, so it needs a little bit more water, you know. Give it what it needs, and it'll still work, it'll still be okay. So we're just making paper mush, and it's okay that there's printing on there. Oh, the other thing that I wanted to do before I forget, I just for springtime want to color mine a little bit. Now I want this project to be biodegradable, so I am using Sweet Pickins milk paint. I have lemon drop, so I don't know how much I need to add, so I'll start and then I'll go. Because it's food safe. So I figure if it's food safe, then it'll be fine biodegrading in the ground somewhere. You'll see where I'm going, I swear. Now, the beauty of this is that you can leave this as chunky or as smooth as you would like. Mine did nice little swirls. It looks like a Dairy Queen ice cream cone. Okay, so you can see it's kind of a little bit chunky and textured. That's the beauty of homemade paper. So especially, this is super cool, guys. Just making your own paper, if you know you were doing things like scrapbooking or journaling, because once this has started to dry, and you're going to see the process, but as some of the water leaches out of it, but before it's fully dry, you can impress images into it. So really cool. What we're going to do is this. Now, this is my drying rack. So nothing fancy. I have you know, a dollar store, so $2.50 little tub. I have a wire file hanger that just fits perfect over top of that. I didn't want to be bothered making a special drying rack because, well, my thought was originally, how often am I going to make paper? But this is my second time, so twice at least. So, what we're going to do is I went to the dollar store and I bought a pack of wildflower seeds. I bought a couple of packs because I'm not sure how many are actually in here. I wasn't sure how much. So I bought 3 packs. We're going to dump all 3 packs in here. And we're going to, in essence, then have stirred them into our paper. They're very small. Did I get all of you? Oh, 2 of you. All right. So I'm going to stir them around in my paper. If I had bought more, I just would have added more. I'm okay with that. So the idea is this. We are making paper, natural paper, okay, whatever chemicals are in the original paper, I don't know, that has flower seeds embedded. So think of it this way. You can put your favorite flower seeds in here. I think that this would be cute with herb seeds in it. Make a different paper for every herb, right? So you would have parsley and a sage one and rosemary and thyme. So that would be cute. But my thinking is this. We're going to make this paper with these seeds in it that we're going to then be able to gift, in essence, to other people. And they can plant the paper, and then the paper grows. So cute. I really think this would be adorable with kids. I think that this, you know, if you've got kids, getting them to put seeds in and then gifting that with, you know, like with a pot, get them to paint and decorate the pot, and then the gift tag that they sign the back of is what they plant in the pot. I mean, come on, that's pretty cute. So what we're going to do, because this is a lot. But you can see, look how much, but we're going to be compressing this, so it's not as bad as it looks. So what I do have on the floor over there is I do have a drop cloth just lying there. You could use a towel, a dish towel, I mean, whatever you want to use, an old pillowcase. Because once we get this to a point where most of the water, and we've got the tub because we're going to be draining the water out of this. And all I'm doing is, you know, you can kind of square up your edges if you want it more paper shaped. I'm just trying to make sure that there's no big gaps or holes in it, so that when I start pressing it, I will have like a sheet. I'm going to be cutting this down, obviously, but okay, that's pretty good, fairly even. I mean, you know me, good enough. Okay, now what I do with this is I fill it with water and then I go toss it outside. I just don't want it going down the sink and plugging that up. So we know it's okay to plant, so we know it's okay for me to toss. It's okay. So now I'm going to take a piece of wax paper or parchment paper, whatever you got. And I just start out gently rolling it with a brayer. This helps to thin it out a little bit better than I can, but it also starts kind of compressing those fibers down in together. Now, the other side is going to be textured, right, because of the grate. And then when I flip this out, because I'm going to press it down, and then I'll pull my paper off, and then I will take this, and I will flip it onto my drop cloth over there to finish drying. But what I want is to just leave it here. And you could use any kind of mesh screen. You could use, you know, one of those spatter guards for your fry pans. I just went to the thrift store to look for something. And this is what I came up with. You know, necessity is the mother of invention. Okay, so now I've got this whole sheet of this. I think I could have actually done this and done maybe 2 much thinner sheets. But I can see all the seed speckles in there, which is so cool because I know that each one is going to be a lovely little flower. All right, so I have a bunch of water down there that I've squished out of my paper. Squished out. So I'm just going to remove this. And I'm going to leave this to just kind of drip dry for a little bit. I'm going to give it maybe about half an hour. And then I will flip it over onto my drop cloth and let it dry overnight. And then we'll be back to take a look at our paper. But it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And I love the little speckles. Okay, so I went away for a couple of days and I forgot about my paper drying. So I had just kind of left it. Usually I flip it over, let it dry evenly on different sides. I kind of weight it down. I could put a tea towel over top and I weight it down. Yeah, I forgot to do any of that. So it's kind of curvy. Just weight it down, guys. I can't say that the yellow gave it a lot of color. So I think I would have had to have used a lot more. So if I was doing that again, I probably wouldn't go with the milk paint. I would maybe use food coloring. And then again, that would be relatively safe in the ground. So not to worry though, this is still gonna be fine. And because it's curvy, I'm just gonna use scissors to cut it. And what's nice about this paper, you know, I made mine fairly thick. But you can do it thinner if you want, and you can cut it with scissors. You know, you've got a lot of flexibility. So I'm gonna do a number of little tags here. I might need better scissors. But if yours is flatter, I have done this, cutting it with a ruler and a utility knife, which works great. I'm looking at debating, like leaving that little rough edge down there. I kind of like that. And so here's the thing about tags. There are things called tag punches. So punches where you can put a whole sheet of paper in, you punch it, comes out like a perfect tag. It's already pre-cut. They are pretty expensive, like $30, $40, $50 expensive, if not more. In which case, you know, you want to buy one, go to it. I don't make enough tags in my head to justify that. And this is fairly substantial paper anyway, so I am just going to fake it, right? So I've just kind of cut out my rough tag shape. I'm going to cut off a corner, and then just to get that so that that works right, I'm just taking the corner that I cut and flipping it over to the other corner. Just making sure I have that right. Yeah. So it's backward, it's the reverse image, so that when I cut out this side, so I still didn't do that right. Okay, let me, if you reverse it, it should work. I cut it longer. Now let me do that again over here so that I can make it even again. This is gonna be one of those things where you cut your kid's hair and then you keep evening out the sides until they have no hair left. There we go. All right. So there are also things called like corner punches where you can use a corner punch, get a nice rounded edge. I'm not sure that this would work because my paper is too thick. So I'm just gonna kind of, you know, roughly round it out myself. And then you can just take a regular little hole punch here. You can buy that at the dollar store, and you can cut out a hole. Now with this, you can kind of do whatever you want. You can take like an IOD ink or an archival ink, and you can kind of go around the edges to give it a little bit of color, you know. And if you're doing this as a gift tag, then you can write the person's name across it, or you can write just a little message on it, you know, peace, love, joy, you know, whatever. Or you could draw a little image on it, right? So you could, and let me just do a little test here to see how my marker works. So, you know, this is like a little flower, so let me you can just draw a little flower on it if you want. So affix these to, you know what? Affix them onto presents, tie a little ribbon through them, affix them onto a cute little planting pot or planting jar. You could put in different seeds. So these are all wildflowers that I did, but you could put in little herbs and attach them onto a number of little pots on a tray and gift that as a little planting garden, a little planted herb garden for people. Or you could do a number of these tags, all with different herbs, write the name of the herb on the tag, string them up with a beautiful little ribbon, and then just have the tags be the gift so that they can go and they can plant them in the garden for the spring. I wanted to bring you this idea of not just making your own paper, but making your own flower paper, plantable paper. This is, you can just tear this up and plant pieces of it because it's got seeds throughout a lot of it, or you could plant the whole thing, just rip it all up and plant it in the garden. But it's kind of a cute idea, and I wanted to bring it to you before spring hit so you could get these made now and then start attaching them onto little hostess gifts or little birthday presents, or just to, you know, Mother's Day or Father's Day, whoever the gardener is in your family. Let me know what you think of this one, guys. I love the idea of the seeds in the paper, and it's really super quick and super easy. Great way to use up a lot of scrap paper, and you know I'm all about using up what you got. Love to hear from you, certainly if you give it a try, but I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Until then, take care.